Hello, my crafty friends, and welcome to the Woodland Wisp. Today, I will be sharing my pattern for this boho flower belt. So this is really cute and easy. I have paired it with some leggings here, but it looks really great with a long black dress or skirt. So the belt itself is made up of these 4-petaled flowers, and then it has a fringe with these little cowrie shell dangles in between. And I will be showing you guys how to add these shells to your stitches as you're going. And then I also added these tiny bells, so it does jingle when you move in it. It has a lace-up closure for an adjustable fit, and I also added some cowrie shells to the ends of these ties. For yarn today, I will be using some size 4 acrylic in white and wood, and a 5mm or size H crochet hook. I've got 14 of these open-backed cowrie shells and a small length of wire to help attach them to my yarn. And then I've got 10 of these large jump rings and 20 miniature jingle bells. Now you may need more or less of these depending on what size you are. So this pattern is started with a foundation single crochet rather than a chain. And you will want to start with an odd multiple of 3 plus 2. So in regard to sizing, each multiple of 3 will stand as 1 flower, and each one of these flower sections measures roughly about 1.5 inches. So for custom sizing, you will want to measure snugly around the widest part of your hips, minus 1.5 inches to compensate for the stretch, and then take that number and divide it by that 1.5 inch flower. So once you've determined the number of flowers that you need, you can just multiply that by 3 and then plus 2 for your foundation row. Now again, the fringe does require an odd number of flowers, so if your measurements happen to land you on an even number, just go down 1, and the sizing shouldn't be affected too much because of that adjustable lace closure. So I am making a size medium, and if you do the backwards math, you can see that it measures about 34.5 inches. And again, because of that lace closure, this would be appropriate for, I would say, probably a 35 to 38 inch hip measurement. To make a foundation single crochet, you are going to start with a chain 2. Insert your hook into the first chain, yarn over, pull up a loop. Yarn over again and pull through 1 loop. Yarn over and pull through the last 2, and you can see when it's done that we've created a stitch that has a chain on one side and a single crochet on the other. And for the next stitch, go ahead and insert your hook into that side chain here. Yarn over and pull up a loop, and then the same thing, yarn over and pull through 1, yarn over and pull through 2. And I am just going to keep working like this for a total of 71 stitches. Now that I've finished my foundation row, I am going to chain 3, and turning the piece, I'm going to skip those first 2 stitches and treble crochet 3 together in that 3rd stitch. So wrap that yarn around your hook 2 times, insert the hook into that 3rd stitch, yarn over and pull up a loop, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2 loops, and you will have 2 loops remaining on the hook, and I am going to repeat that 2 more times. And then 1 more time, wrapping twice, pull up a loop, pull through 2, pull through 2, and you can see that I've got my starting loop and then 1 loop for each one of those treble crochets on my hook, and I am going to yarn over and pull through all 4 of those loops. And now I'm going to chain 3 and then treble crochet 3 together again in that same stitch. And now we have 1/2 of the first flower. So I'm going to skip the next 2 stitches and I'm going to do the same thing in that 3rd stitch. I'm going to treble crochet 3 together, chain 3, treble crochet 3 together in the same stitch. And I am just going to repeat this same pattern all the way to the other side. So now I've made it back to the other side and I have got 23 petal sections here and 2 stitches remaining on that foundation row. So I am going to chain 3 and then skipping over those last 2 stitches, I am going to work a slip stitch right here into the end of that foundation row. And now I'm going to chain 3 and turning the piece again, I am going to work that same petal row back down the opposite side of the foundation. So I'm going to work a treble crochet 3 together, chain 3, treble crochet 3 together in that same stitch here that I worked the last one into. So this row is going to make up the other half of each one of those flowers. So I am just going to repeat adding 2 petals and a chain 3 on the back side of each one of those petal sections from the first row. This is what the flowers look like, and as soon as you make it to the other side, you can go ahead and chain 3, and then just like we did on the opposite side, we are going to work a slip stitch right here in the top of this foundation row. And I am going to go ahead on this slip stitch and grab my other color. So I'm just changing to brown, and then we are going to use that for the trim. So now I've got my brown on and I'm going to chain 1 and then work 2 half double crochets right there in that same stitch that we put the slip stitch in. Just like that, and then I'm going to work 3 half double crochets in this next chain 3 space here. And then we are just going to skip right over this next petal and work 4 half double crochets in this next chain 3 space. And then 1 half double crochet in between these next 2 petals here. And for the remainder of this row, we are just going to continue working 4 half doubles in the chain 3 spaces and 1 half double in between each one of those petal sets. So now I'm back at the other side and I am just going to work 3 half double crochets right here in this last chain 3 space. And then again, I'm going to place 2 half double crochets right here in the top of that foundation row that we started with. There's 2. And then again, 3 half double crochets in this next chain 3 space on the corner here. Just like this. And then for this bottom edging, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put 4 half double crochets in the chain 3 spaces and 1 in between those petal sets, but we are going to work a cowrie shell onto every other chain 3 space. So you're going to start by working 2 half doubles in this first chain 3. There's 2, and then we're going to chain 1, and then pull that loop out and remove your hook. And then I am grabbing this piece of wire that I have, and I have just folded it in half, and I am going to grab my loop with that, and then I'm going to run that wire through the back side of that cowrie shell and add that to my loop. And then you can remove your wire and replace your hook. And then pull that loop back up to your stitch with the shell on it. And you're just going to wrap your hook around the back side of that loop where it comes out of the back of the shell. And then grab your working yarn and pull up a loop, and then pull through and slip stitch that right on to the piece. And then to match the other side, you're going to chain 1 and then work 2 more half double crochets in that same chain 3 space. So here is the cowrie shell, and then again we are going to put a half double in between these next 2 petals and 4 half double crochets in that next chain 3 space. And you are just going to repeat that process to the other side, adding a cowrie shell on every other chain 3 space. And after I've added that last cowrie shell, I am just going to work 3 half double crochets in this last chain 3 space on the side here. And then I'm going to slip stitch back into that first half double crochet that I made to finish off this trim. That is it for the belt part of it. You can go ahead and weave in that end, and then we will begin adding our fringes. So the fringes are going to go in these empty spaces between the cowrie shells. And you will need a total of 20 folded strands. So we're going to do 1 folded strand on either end of the belt in that first space, and 2 folded strands on the remaining 9. So I am going to start by inserting my hook through the back side right in between those 4 half double crochets. So I've got 2 half doubles on each side, and then I am just going to grab the loop on that folded strand and pull those 2 back through it. And now I am going to do the other single strand on the opposite side. And the remainder of the fringe are worked exactly the same way, except we are using 2 strands folded in half. So you will have 2 strands on either end of the belt and 4 strands on each of the center ones. And once you've got the fringe on, we are going to add some ties. So start with those 2 on the end and take 2 from the next section. And we are just going to tie these together with a simple knot right in the middle where just below that cowrie shell. Here is my first knot, and you're going to just take those remaining 2 and 2 from the next section and tie another simple knot. And you're just going to repeat that process all the way to the other side. And now we are going to add some bells. So I am just going to open up one of these large jump rings and add on 2 of these little jingle bells. And then I'm going to take the front 2 strands here of these ties that we made, and I am just going to loop that jump ring through the front strand only on each side and close it. The last thing to make is the tie, and I am using a chain 150 and adding those cowrie shells to the ends as I go. And I ran my lacing through the top and bottom holes on either side of that foundation row. That is it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed making this piece. Please visit my channel and check out some of my other crochet patterns. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you next time.